Hey guys, this week on Cooking with Carby, we're making pizza. We can make the dough fresh with just a few ingredients you already have at home. Flour, sugar, yeast, water, olive oil, and a pinch of salt. It's so easy, I'm going to show you how to do it twice, once by hand and once with a stand mixer. Let's get started. Into a small bowl goes 1 tablespoon each of yeast and granulated sugar, 1 cup of warm water, stirred to incorporate everything together, and then covered and set aside for 7 or 8 minutes, giving the yeast a chance to bloom. Into a larger bowl goes half of our 3 cups of all-purpose flour, followed by a large pinch of salt, and then we're mixing everything together and then creating a well in the middle that we are going to pour our bloomed yeast mixture into. Did somebody say bloomed yeast mixture? Ooh la la! Pour that into the aforementioned well in your dry ingredients, and then using a rubber spatula or a wooden spoon, we're going to try to fold everything together. It's still going to look really wet, it just makes it a lot easier to form this into a dough if we add our dry ingredients in stages. Now we can add the rest of our flour, 1.5 cups, followed by my good friend olive oil, about a tablespoon. Folding everything together again, remembering to scrape the edges every so often, just trying to incorporate all of our flour and get as much of the work done in the bowl before we have to get our hands dirty. Onto a floured work surface, we're now going to take our dough out of our bowl and get to kneading. This part could take 5 to 10 minutes. It's a lot of grabbing with one hand and pushing the dough forward over itself, and then using the other hand to pull it back across the cutting board. See, as I move it around, trying to pick up any of the loose bits of flour, cleaning up my cutting board, the end result should be something that is smooth, tacky to touch, but not sticky. This recipe makes enough dough for 2 large pizzas, so before proofing, we're going to split and shape into 2 equal balls, which is going to make shaping the pizzas much easier down the road. Once I have a rough round formed, I'm grabbing from the bottom of the dough, pulling up towards the top and rotating, and then flipping my dough over, keeping my hands pressed against the cutting board and pulling back towards myself to shape into a nice smooth sphere. Now, in a bowl large enough for our dough to double in size when it proofs, we're adding a little bit of olive oil, then our dough, then some more olive oil on top before covering for at least an hour and a half. Time for it to double in size. Then the same with the second one. On to version number 2. Same process for our bloomed yeast mixture. Cover it, set it aside for another 7 or 8 minutes, and while we wait for that to happen, we can get our dry ingredients ready. Half of our flour goes into the bowl of a stand mixer, followed by a pinch of our salt, and our now bloomed yeast mixture.
Oh my God!
Smooth, really smooth. Okay, well, now that I have my dough hook properly affixed, I'm turning my mixer onto its lowest setting. Just like we did initially with the spatula, I'm just mixing to incorporate before I add in the rest of my flour, and then my tablespoon or so of olive oil. Again, turning my mixer onto its lowest setting, we're going to see a shaggy dough start to form, at which point I'm going to turn the mixer off, use a spatula to scrape down the sides, add a little more olive oil if the dough looks a little dry, turn the mixer back on, adjusting between the lowest and second lowest setting now, until a smooth ball of dough forms. It might take 5 or 6 minutes. Once removed from the mixer, we're dusting our work surface again, dividing into 2 equal portions, forming into nice spheres, and then setting aside to proof until doubled in size. And there you have it, 2 ways to create pizza dough at home. Nice and easy, not that much effort required. If you have a mixer, it makes the process a little bit quicker. If not, there is definitely something therapeutic about kneading the dough by hand. Stay tuned for my next episode. It's going to be releasing tomorrow, and in that one we're going to take a look at forming the dough, as well as making our own pizza sauce and using some of that leftover frozen donair meat to make our second pizza. I hope you enjoyed the video and maybe learned something. If you did, please like this video and subscribe if you haven't already.